Clinton, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you?
Yeah, so how you going, everyone? I'm Clinton Walker. I'm a local man from this region around Karratha. My people are the Ngarluma and Yindjibarndi people. I am currently a tour guide. I also deliver cultural awareness training. And yeah, we're out here in beautiful Murujuga National Park.
Great. And what are some of the stories of the place we're in here? What are some of the things to let people know about the place?
So it's got the highest concentration of rock art in the world. There's up to 1 million rock art images scattered right across the Pilbara Peninsula, or Murujuga as we call it. It's also quite a significant place for Aboriginal people, as this is where a lot of songlines begin from here. So that's the reason why there's so much rock art. And part of the reason there's a lot of rock art is because it's such an abundant area as well in terms of food. So for my people who were able to live here for such a long time, they had plenty of food, which meant it was quite easy then to spend a lot of time doing the things that they enjoy, such as making rock art.
Great. I just wanted to let you know our friend Lenore Geyer, who we've mentioned to you from Palm Island, who's currently in her sick bed with influenza in Townsville, just joined in and said hello. Hello,
Hey,
Lenore.
how you going, Lenore?
Great. And other people are joining in and commenting on the amazing scenery. So, Clinton, just getting back to just justice, what do you see as some of the important issues, that are contributing to over-incarceration of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people?
The system and the justice system, I think, has a lot of flaws. Aboriginal people are being incarcerated for things they shouldn't be, and a lot of the problem that we find here is people are, spending time in prison for petty crimes like unpaid fines, a lot of drink driving. In the non-Aboriginal community, the same crimes are, you wouldn't put a person in jail for that, but Aboriginal people are spending time in jail, and it's because from some of my family, they know that they can't afford to pay the fines. So what they do is they'll spend a few days in jail and they get rid of their fines. It's the only way that they can do it, because they don't have the money. So there's part of the issue itself.
Yeah, and that was raised when we did a periscope yesterday from South Headland, talking about when people are having poverty, other forms of hardship, how that can contribute to putting them in that position.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think would be some of the solutions? What would you like to see happen?
Rather than putting them in prison, maybe even doing some community things, like I know with the prisons around here for people who were in what do you call it? They were less inclined to be like bad criminals. So people who are in jail for really low crimes, they would actually take them out to places like Millstream, and they would do a lot of upkeep on the national park, assisting the rangers, that sort of stuff.
It would be great to see that happen. I mean, when we were out at Millstream the other day, there were a lot of weeds, weren't there? That there's useful things that could be done.
Yeah, they could do a lot of weeding. They could also help remove a lot of the other types of weed. Introduce plant species. There's a lot of signage and things that get broken down, or they can replace. They could do a lot of different things in and around the community itself.
What would it take to make that happen? Hello from the UK. Thanks for joining in.
How you going? Governments from the top level changing the laws, policies. Policy makers actually coming into the communities, seeing the issue firsthand, and then they can go back and then possibly alter those laws to be able to suit the situation. And then people who are on the ground level, like judges for instance, not incarcerating people because they can, trying not to swamp the system with too much people, because some judges are really harsh and they just want to Yep, make an example out of people and say, oh, you've done this so many times, you're not learning your lesson, so we're going to lock you up for even longer, which is not really a solution. It's punishing a person when really they should be trying to get them out of that system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lenore just commented, Lenore is very interested in her work in taking a strength-based approach, whether it's in research or programs, services, policy, and, just highlighted the importance of strength-based approaches and the cultural determinants of health. So what you're suggesting, getting people out on country, is helping health at a lot of levels, not just keeping people out of jail. But why is that important for people to be, on country and caring for country?
From a mental health point of view, their mind is clearer. They're not in that environment where they're enclosed with four walls between them and a bar. So they get to have a better mindset. So therefore, they can think more about what they're doing, how they can change their lifestyle, and being out on country heals you spiritually as well. So it's not just mentally, physically. You get a spiritual healing from that, because you're out on your country. You realize that it needs you as well as the person to be out there looking after it. You're no good in the jail if in terms of trying to take care of your country. Yeah.
I wonder if there are many programs in jails that do that. Take people out, involve them in caring for country as part of, either keeping them out of jail or stopping recidivism, stopping them going back in once they're released.
Yeah, definitely they were doing that here, but they've stopped doing it now because the Roban Regional Prison built a low risk area for those type of inmates who can go in and learn some skills to help them get into, out and working in the industries around here. So they're more focused on basically giving them the skills that they need to go back out into the world and be a contributing member of society. But it's not always about just that. From an Aboriginal person's point of view, you've got to be connected to your country too. And so I think when they had that Millstream program and another one called DECA, they were really great. And it just, it gave that people, a lot of them, when they were out there, they want to become rangers so they can be out on the country too. Yeah.
So they should reintroduce those culturally appropriate.
And have both, working in tandem, so they can still gain the skills they need to go and work on the country, but if they or work in the industry, and then they can still be out on the country, and then they have more choices. Obviously you can't do that for high risk inmates, but for the lower risk, obviously it's a bit easier for them to go back into society.
Yeah. Lenore just commented, you're getting lots of hearts, by the way. I forgot to tell you that when people are watching Periscope, if they're enjoying what they're seeing and hearing, they tap the screen, it sends hearts. So
well, that's good.
You're getting some hearts there, Clinton.
No worries.
So just Lenore commented, that country is so integral to our health, and she also mentioned the importance of resilience. So what do you think would help develop resilience in young people in the community? So Lenore is saying deadly brother. There you go.
No worries. Thanks, sister. In terms of resilience for young people, the young people need strong leaders. You can't have strong leaders if they're all locked up. So we need more people, I suppose like myself, who can go out and teach them their country, their culture and knowledge. So I'm a very, good person because growing up I had really strong leaders. My elders used to take me and my cousin's family out, all the kids out on country all the time, and teach us our culture, and that gave us strength in ourselves, and it made us respectful people, respectful members. And so therefore a lot of us who grew up in that environment are actually doing positive things today. So the guys who missed out on all of that, they were stuck at home and they were around, alcohol and so on. They went down the same destructive path as their parents and so on, and so they go into this incarceration system where people like myself, who, I had family who were in that, including my own parents, but by going out with the elders and stuff, they show you that there's another way, that there's a true way that Aboriginal people live, and that way it helps you as a person, so that you can be a better person for your family, for your people, and for your country.
Yeah. And I mean, the other wonderful thing about the work that you do is sharing it with people, you know, like ourselves coming through the region, visiting, so connecting up non-Aboriginal Australians with some of, you know, the stories of Aboriginal people. I think it's such valuable work.
Yeah, and I think with the tourism is a great tool for Aboriginal people to use in their favour, to be able to teach people about our culture, because people are wanting to come and pay us to do that. So therefore it's creating work for us and economy, and at the same time we're out on our country, we're keeping our culture alive and strong, and we're educating the rest of Australia and the world about the, you know, importance of this. So it's such a great tool.
Yeah. Now there's just an opportunity to ask people watching, do you have any questions for Clinton that you'd like him to address, or any questions about his country? While you're typing in your questions, if you'd like to ask any. Yes, Lenore's just making the point, it must be Aboriginal led, you know, the businesses and the tourism that you're talking about. One thing I wanted to say is there's a fantastic DVD which has been made by the people of Roebourne called Exile in the Kingdom. Would you like to tell us a bit about that, Clinton? Because I personally think it's something, you know, all Australians should see. It should be in schools, so on. So why is that so important, and what does it tell us about history?
So Exile in the Kingdom was made by my people because we were going through our own struggles, and the elders, which is the same elders that I learned from, wanted the world to know what these struggles were, but they also wanted them to know how good our culture is. So they made this documentary to show, you know, a lot of the things that have happened in the past, negative things that Aboriginal people were forced into, so that the rest of, you know, Australia could understand why Aboriginal people have such problems, you know, in society, that it wasn't just a few things from here and there over the last couple of years, you know, the last 20, 30 years, actually going right back to the day that, you know, Europeans landed. It's not saying that they caused all the problems, but what it's saying is that a lot of problems that were created because of them made us vulnerable, and that we were in situations that we had no control over, you know, with government legislation and so on, and that it's, you know, today that a lot has changed since then, and we're wanting to show people that we are actually capable ourselves of running our own things, that we don't need Big Brother looking over our shoulder anymore, the government. We are capable of doing things on our own, and so that's what that documentary shows. And if you come to this community, especially in Roebourne, you will see that we're taking our community back. Yeah.
That's great. Just to let you know, someone said hello from Canada. You're getting lots more hearts.
How you going?
And someone asked a question, is the tourism helping to make programs better? So I'm not sure if they're referring specifically.
Well, as an example, with the tourism, I've actually been contacted by a person through my Facebook site saying that they have some troubled youth from their side of Australia down in New South Wales. So, you know, I don't know, what's that, 4,000 k's away or something, and that they want to come up to my country to experience my culture and help those boys understand what it means to be Aboriginal, what it means to be on country, and what it means to be a strong man, I suppose. So that's what I'll have to show them. Yeah.
Yeah. And Lenore just commented, you know, agreeing about the ongoing impact of colonisation, but the importance, as you said, of Aboriginal people leading, you know, your communities, your programs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there'd be a lot of support for what you just said about.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true, because we are the people that know our own problems, and we're the only ones who can solve them, because we're the ones who understand it more better than anybody else. No good somebody in Canberra trying to fix our problems when it belongs to us. We've got to fix it ourselves. So therefore, if you give us the means to do it, it'll happen, and that's what's happened in my community.
Yeah.
And we do still have problems, but a lot of those problems, they're disappearing.
Yeah. Lenore just said, yeah, brother, true. And she's also agreed, saying that what you're doing would be a fantastic training model.
Thank you.
So isn't that lovely? We're talking here from the north of Western Australia to Lenore across in Townsville.
That's cool.
It is cool, isn't it? Okay, any other questions, anyone? Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up, Clinton?
Just great that all these people could come and tune in, listen to me talk, and I hope that one day you can get to come and see my country. It's very pretty around here, but we've got a lot of culture. We're a people who are proud of our culture, not just as where we come from, but as Aboriginal people, and that, you know, we'll try and teach you what we can from our perspective. And I believe that there's lots of hope for us as a race of human beings, not just Aboriginal, non-Aboriginal, but people in general. But you got a lot of things to learn from us, my mob. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, thank you so much. We've been very privileged to be spending the time with you, learning from you. Lenore says, keep doing what you're doing. It's great work.
All right, thanks, and I will.
So everyone who's watching, you can follow Clinton. Someone's saying thank you for sharing. They're coming in from the United States. So you can follow Clinton on Twitter. I've tweeted out his Twitter handle, and get onto his Facebook page and look at some of the beautiful photos from his country that he's so generous in sharing. And I'll just step back now to show you where we are in the landscape. So thank you, Clinton. Goodbye.